welcome back. So today is Ruckard Divergenced strategy part 14, and we are going to be focusing on ADX, which is here. So according to Luis M. Seijas, which is a chat person that talked that explained this idea in the chat, you could use ADX higher than 34 in order to enter into a trade or not. So if you have more than 34, you enter into a trade, else you don't enter there. So we could have an ADX filter, maybe also a DI plus or DI minus filter. So you could have an ADX filter with this, and this is what we are going to test right now. So we have reset all the settings, and now we have the default strategy without any strict mode, as we were doing in the last episode. And we have a lot of trades. We have 150 trades, and as you can see, this is the current curve, and so if you choose long only, you are going to see how this is quite good because strategy goes up. But if you choose short only, the strategy, well, it doesn't go well at all. So it's just like it's better not to use short, or maybe it's something about being in an upward trend or not, because you can see here we have some improvements because we are going downtrend right now. So yeah, so what we want to do is to add these ADX filters and see if we can manage to avoid problems on short trades. Hopefully this helps a bit. So I'm not sure how to implement this, because we can do it. So first of all, let's open let's open the strategy divergence in the top and in the bottom. Let's see if I use one or more values, because I think we can do. Let's try this here. So I think we can have ADX protection filter. We can have an ADX closing filter. So if more than 50, close, you know. If more than 50, then close. And here you could say something like, if more than 34, then open, you know, then enable to be open. So these are two different settings, and you will have the long and short and long and short settings for all of that. And then what we can change also here is more or less and more or less, because I think then you've got something like a range. You could say yeah, I mean range. So something like with minimum and maximum maximum range that you want to open or not. Okay, I mean, there are many ways of doing this. So we could have a range, that way it's quite easy. Yeah, maybe the easiest thing is to have a range in order to open the trade, and in order to close, it's either less or more. Yeah. I think we could also have a range, but it's the other way round. So at least one filter for if more than close, and if less than close. That's the other way of doing this. So you need a range in order to open, and then you can choose to close if you are above a certain value or below a certain value. So this is the way that I see the IDX filter, because you can choose so many stuff. So if you want higher than 34, you can say something like 34 100, okay, because ADX cannot have 100. That's right. So maybe we can start with the ADX protection filter, okay, and yeah, and we go from there and see what happens. And so once again, what you want to do is to have one for the same strategy and another one for the idea based on maximum. Based on maximum, more than, and this is less than. Yeah, okay. So we have many stuff here. So this is so we have a range. So this is 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and so we have like 6 inputs more. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see how the hell to implement this. So maybe we should, I mean, what we have done, maybe we should create a new file, and that's it, because now we are working on ADX, and else this is going to. So what you want to do is to use the latest divergence, which is K, and then you copy it here and say that this is L ADX. So let's open this like we always do, and what about up here? Nice. Okay, this is nice here. Now let's move to the left so that we can have this here. Okay, so now this is 29 and this is going to be L1. Down here we have the new version, which is L1 or 2. Okay, so now I should be able to add this new file, which is the L, and say that it's based on something else. So OHLC4, and so this was K, and this is L. So this is going to be ADX. Nice. So now I can work on new stuff. So the first thing to implement is the ADX protection filter. Okay. I mean, I would like also to have DA plus and DA minus, but I'm not sure it's worth it. So we want to implement this stuff down here. So let's see. So this is a protection. So we maybe want to copy and paste all of this from here down here and see. So I'm not sure. Excuse momentum indicator. Let me see what the hell is on the Zignaly template. What's the last? So the last one is the super strategies look back. Okay, so yeah, so before long RSI closing. Long RSI closing. Okay. So as this is going to be something that it's found on every strategy, I'm going to put it here because it's going to be easier later in order to add to what's the name? In order to add to the template. Okay, the Ruckard Zignaly template. So this is, instead of RSI, this is ADX. So we can think about replacing stuff. So RSI ADX. So we can replace stuff all around here, just for fun. But I mean, we are not going to use everything there. So do we want a custom time frame? That's a good idea. Yes, we want a custom time frame. Why not? So we have the custom time frame, enable or not. Okay, let's set this by default that we don't want this to be turned on. Nice. And so the other thing that we want is to say what the hell do we want to use here. So this is a range. So we want two values. So this is minimum and maximum. So this should be minimum and this should be maximum. Okay. So this is this should be greater than, and this should be less than, less or equal, less than. Okay. So yeah. So the idea was, what was this? 34,100, let's say, and So we want the same thing to happen on short. Okay, so we want protection level, so we want everything to be the same thing here. So the easiest way of doing this is just replacing short with long everywhere, and that way it should be fine. And this should be the same thing. So we want short, and we want short here. Okay. So we can remove this level, and we have the custom time frame also that we can use. So let me check. So this should be true minimum, maximum. Okay, I'm doing this. This is not right. It should be the other way around. So we want this between 34 and 100. So this should be 34 and 100. Okay. Same thing down here. Nice. So far we are going to implement this stuff, then we will add the custom time frame, because yeah. So let's add bookmark here just in case we need it. And down here we're going to find something. I mean, maybe the RSI protection level. Here it is. So RSI protection super strategy. So we should be able to copy and paste everything, if I'm not mistaken. So there's also the custom time frame here, which yeah, we should be able to copy and paste all of this code and just use it somewhere here. So I think that this excuse momentum interface is something custom from the script. So I should be able to put here this ADX protection super strategy. Okay. So now I should be able to bookmark this and just replace RSI with ADX, and then we will see. Yeah, ADX. I think this does not work like this, but so far this is what we want to do. So the other thing that we want to replace is ADX, I mean RSI, with capital letters, so that it's and there's this other one. So this should be replaced everywhere where it's used. ADX. I mean, it's not going to be the same code, but it's going to help us to. Okay, now this is not what we are working with. And finally, we have this other RSI that should be ADX. So let's see if we can replace this properly. Okay. Then we are yeah, we also want to replace this. Nice. So we have managed to replace stuff, but it doesn't mean that it works as expected, because we have two inputs, which is the minimum and maximum, and we should be able to do it. I mean, So let's check what the hell do we have here, because we have the RSI and this is a range. So this is going to be different on what we have. So the protection is always true. That's nice. Then if something is wrong, you say that this is false. That's the main logic of protection, so that you can just do an AND later on. So you have the current time frame protection ADX and the higher protection ADX. So what we need is to be able to calculate the ADX. So if I'm not mistaken, there is no custom function for ADX. I mean DMI. What the hell is this? Directional movement index. Oh, take a look at this. I didn't know that you could. But the problem here is that you cannot choose what's the source. So here you can choose the length, you can choose the smoothing, but you cannot choose the what's the name, the source. And that's the thing that I want to do, because I like a lot to choose the source for this kind of value. Although ADX, if I'm not mistaken, it works with long and short and so on. So it should not be that way. ADX smoothing 17 and what the hell? Okay, let me see what I can do with this. So we also need some extra settings. If I'm doing this right, we need some extra settings here. Okay, let me check this other script that I have here, which calculates ADX. So this is what you usually do with ADX, and use up, down, use high and low. You do not use close. So I think that we can just use and then we have these settings about 14 and 14, and I'm not sure this is the default value, so let's check for the default values somewhere here. So let's think, let's assume that I want to add a new indicator, and it's the ADX. So I add this one, you don't care too much, and I use the settings 1414. Why the example from okay, so this is the official one. It's also 1414. Okay, so we want to use 14 and 14. Nice. So let's go back to our script. So we want to use 14 and 14 here. So there should be an ADX for the both of them or not. That's a good question. Should we use the same ADX for long and short or not? So this is ADX DI length and this is ADX smoothing. So smoothing. So this is ADX DI length. Matti in it. Hello. What's the stream about? Yeah, hi Matti. This stream is about trading. Nothing to do with cryptocurrencies. This is about trading BTC in Binance exchange, thanks to Zignaly. Okay, let me say this thanks to Zignaly. So trading view can be programmed to trigger long entries and short entries into the exchange. Zignaly translates them to be used in Binance. Okay. So the code you are looking at is Binance Script, which is a custom programming language from TradingView. Okay. So we have the ADX DI length, I'm going to call it that way, and we also have ADX smoothing, which is going to be 14. Okay, so what you want to have here is, this is the length and this is the smoothing. So DI plus, DI minus, and ADX. So what you want to do here is you want to calculate current time frame, DI plus, and so on. So this is DI minus and ADX. Okay, so this is going to be the input from DMI. Okay, so these inputs, I do not want them here. I want them up here, which is the long ADX protection, ADX protection length and source. Okay, length and source. Yeah, so yeah, ADX. Yeah, but we want this to be specific to protection, so we want to have protection on the name. So let's fix this. So we want to have ADX protection on the name. ADX protection smoothing. Yeah. So now let's use the new names here. So this is, sorry. So this is, wait, what the hell? This is the length, and this is the smoothing. Okay. So that's interesting. And the other thing that I want to say to Matti is that signal exchange does not help you trading in your own Binance accounts. It uses its own accounts, but they are Binance sub accounts under the hood. Okay, so let me continue. So we have the inputs which are used here, smoothing. So this should be returning us the current time frame DI plus. Okay, and the other thing that we want is the higher time frame. So this should be done the same way that we do this here. So what you want here is to have this okay, let me see how the hell do we do this. We want these new variables which are going to be higher time frame dia plus, higher time frame dia minus, and higher time frame ADX. Okay, so this is going to be using the security function. Okay, so that I can use the higher time frame. That's nice, but yes, you can find whatever I release in any of my video descriptions, and you have got the repo there, everything. So let me see, ADX, so higher time frame. Sorry, I was doing this. So what we want to do is just use this function in here instead of what we had originally, and now we are calling the same code, but thanks to the security this is going to be run in another time frame. Okay, so now we have the current time frame ADX and the higher time frame ADX, and this is I mean, this is no longer needed here, and if I'm not mistaken, wait a moment, higher time frame ADX protection, yeah, I'm missing higher time frame, current time frame protection ADX. Yeah, well, okay, let's use protection here everywhere and just after higher time frame protection, and this should be fixing everything, I guess. Wait a moment, time frame protection, and time frame protection. Okay, so now current time frame protection ADX, current time frame, this should be the same thing. What I'm doing wrong here, current time frame, oh my god, why this is so wrong. This is what happens when you try to find and replace stuff without using the tool, but manually. So yeah, so now we have these settings which are set up here, ADX protection DA length and ADX protection smoothing. So either we use the current ones or the higher ones, and this is going to be done with the enable ADX protection custom time frame, which is here. So either we use the higher one or the current one. Nice. Now protection, what the hell is this? This is the RSI, which random protection, RSI mode, short long. Okay, anyway, anyway, the code should be quite easy to do. So let me maybe remove a lot of this stuff, because this is going okay, so this was when you wanted something to be either it's dynamic because you calculate it somehow, or it's static. And currently we don't have dynamic stuff, we are only going to implement the static. So I'm going to remove all of this here because it doesn't help too much. So what I want to have is those levels, and that's it. So dynamic long level, yeah. So maybe what I want to do is let's see, so remove dynamic stuff to do dynamic. But I'm not sure about this. Then you can say long ADX maximum level and minimum level. Minimum level, and this should be short level here. Okay, so now we have these levels. As Matty is interested, I'm going to show you this video about using my link, and then we go back to the explanation.
Zignaly, all of the profit and none of the work, best alongside the top digital asset monitors and fans. If you use my link and that pass it at least 100 USDT or more to any profit sharing services, you will be rewarded with $20 worth of non-withdrawable C coins that can be used for paying Zignaly CCS fees.
So the ad is about the final user. So you can invest on several trades thanks to Zignaly. And yeah, and that's it. And if you use my link, you help me a bit. And I mean, you can use Zignaly as a trader, and it's free for your own use, or you can use it as a final user so that other people invest your money. So you can have several accounts and choose whatever you want to do with them. Either invest with someone else, or invest with yourself, and you can invest. If you invest with other traders, is higher. I mean, you can choose to invest $1 if you want. You can invest $1 in 50 traders, and then check if it goes well or not. If you know what I mean. Okay, so let's focus on the code. And so we have the minimum and maximum values. Okay, I think I prefer to have first the minimum values here, and this should be the minimum value. And let's put this that way so that then we can use this code, but I do not want to use this code, you know what I mean, because we don't have any dynamic stuff. So this is going to be here just in case. And so what you want to do is just have these assignations here. This needs to be in this same level, and so this is the minimum and the maximum. There should be 2 settings. And now that the thing, yeah, so there should be 2 settings here. So we should also have the maximum level, and we also have the long ATX protection level, which I mean, let's see. So this is minimum long, so minimum long is here, and this is maximum long here. And so protection level, so the same thing for short minutes. So we have the short minimum and the short maximum. Right. So here we should have the minimum input and the maximum input. So once we have this, what I have managed here, I can have the dynamic settings and do something else. That's why we have this additional variable that usually you wouldn't need it. So that's the reason. Now we should be able to do our stuff with these values. So the protection is that if the values are, so the protection is, okay, let me see. So by default the protection is true. That means that I don't care what you have. And so what you want to do is something like this. So if protection level, yeah, so if protection ADX is less than the minimum level, which is here, or this protection level is higher than the maximum range, than the maximum level on the range, like this, maximum level. So then you don't want to enter, because this is not in the right range to enter. So you say that this needs to be false. So now we should be able to do the same thing with short. So it's quite easy to do the same thing with short. So if the short level or short level here, we can and that's it. So this is the place where we have all of this calculus. So we have these levels that comes from up here, okay, and then we have this protection ADX. Wait a moment, this is not right. We don't need to do anything more. We don't need to run this. So we have this protection ADX and we compare it, and if you are not in range, then we don't want to enter the position. We want to be above 34 and less than 100 maybe. So this is one part, okay. The other part is down there, down here. So let's see if I can copy and paste some text. Damn it. Some text here. So yeah. So the text that you want to use is where is it? The text I want to copy is all of these inputs, because that way it's easier for me. And maybe here, yeah, the long condition and short condition. Let's copy this somewhere else. Nice. Okay, so now if I take a look at the RSI protection level and so on, I should have this. Wait a moment. Have I done something wrong here? Why the hell? Okay, it's not the class level that I want to take a look at, but the protection one. So here in the protection we have these conditions. So this is the one that I want to take a look at. Okay. So here we have this RSI protection. So I just want to copy and paste this. That's where the magic happens. So how the hell do we enable this? With a long ADX protection. We also enable this with a short ADX protection, which is up there. Wait a moment. Here it is. And then, which is the condition is either this is long or not, and this is short or not. Okay, and now we should be set. We should be done for the day. So hit diff. So now let's check what we have done. So we have added some inputs so that we can have a minimum and maximum values for both long and short ADX, and this is our protection. We also decide to have an option to turn on or off having these values in 3 hours, just in case. And so we also have these values, DI length and length. This is not right, so let me check this again. Let's fix this. So first of all, we don't have any source because ADX does not need a source, but it uses high and low, and that's it. And then we have this length that should be something. Wait a moment. So if we go down here, let's see what the hell do we have. So we have DI length. Okay, so what we want to have here is DI length. We don't want length, and that's it. And let's also use this group so that everything is on the same place. Group and group, and so the length we can remove it, and now we have an ADX protection smoothing and then the ADX protection length. So let's keep a look at here again. We now have the right inputs and the strategy. By default this is true. We calculate ADX on the current time frame and on the higher time frame, and we either use one or the other one. Then we have this additional variable just in case we do something dynamic in the future. And so this is the code. That means if you are under the level or above the level, we should not enter because we are not in range. And finally, we use this only if we enable it. So we are going to test this new feature, and then after testing the new feature we will be able to turn it on. So right now we have this stuff by default. This is by default. Okay, RSI. Didn't remember that I have so many stuff here. So by default this is 80%. Just you win 80% with so many time. So what you want to do here is to test the stuff. So let's do it. So let's take a look at the source code here. Let's replace it with what we have here. So where are you here? Let's paste and see what happens. So we should have the same. Once it ends, we should have the same stat than before. It's 18%. I mean, I think it's, yeah, it has not finished. So we should have this 18% stuff. Wait a minute. Okay, let's, I guess that it's something has been changed somewhere. Let's reset settings. Okay, let's see what the hell do I have. Have I turned on something that I wanted to turn on? What's the problem here? Okay, this is turned on by default. I didn't want to do that. Okay, let me see. I want this to be false by default. Otherwise we don't have the same thing. So this is false by default, false by default, and then we will see what to do. Okay, so now now if we go here we should have this 18%. So now we can work and see if this ADX greater than 34 it's a good thing or not, which it's what we have somewhere here, I guess. ADX protection, we can enable this on long, see if there is any difference, and it doesn't help too much. So let me work only with long only. Where is the ADX protection? Here it is. So it doesn't help too much. I mean, we have much less traits, but if we remove it with a long only, I mean, we win much more. So this might not be the right values here. So 34 was suggested for 15 minutes. So maybe we want this to divide it by 4. So that's 9. But usually 9 it's too low. So I'm not sure this is going to help in any ways. So it's the same thing. So what it's usually suggested is 23. Okay. So if you use 23, it might help us a bit. Okay, so profit factor is 1.4. Okay, let me see. But even then, I mean, it depends on us removing. Maybe we want to remove the RSI protection for this to work properly. But I mean, I'm not so sure. And then there's this thing about enable, I don't know, 23 and 40 and see if there's anything here. Yeah, I mean, you don't win so much, but well, I don't know. So maybe it's 20 and 30. Sorry. What the hell? Let me see, 20 and 30. Where is the ADX protection? So maybe the right thing to do is 20 and 30 and you win a bit more. I'm not sure. Take a look at that. So you only have 21 trade instead of 65, but when you use the 20-30 ADX range, you get a better return. Okay, and this drawdown is quite good, so maybe that's what we want to do. So the other thing that we should be trying out is doing the same thing but with short. So if we go up here and say short only, we should be playing only with short orders, and so let's see what happens. So with short orders it's not perfect, but in the end we have more stuff going well. So yeah, so maybe we can test another values for short, maybe 30 and 40. I'm not sure if this is a good idea. Maybe you want to do something else like 10 and 20 here. Wait a moment, 10 and 20. See if it's a bit better, but I'm not sure. I am not sure at all. Yeah, I mean, what about using 20 and 30? Do we have... wait a moment, I didn't enable them. Or did I? Okay, so let's check. Damn it. So this is short only, okay. So the ADX protection, what about using this? Is it any better? Yeah, if you think so. I mean, so we can turn on these two values and just use here both of them with reverse. Maybe it works better than what we had before. Okay, so now we have 24 and it's 51% profitable and so on. Although the problem is that long only, I think it's much better than this, because you have got 62% profitable, and if you use a strict mode, not sure what's gonna happen. Maybe it's a bit better, although yeah, I mean, probably we can go back to the settings that I had in the other place and try to add this, but yeah, 21 trades, 70% of them are profitable. This is quite nice, but this is only with long only. And so we can remove to all others, and we can remove RSI protection. Sorry, not RSI protection, but where the hell is this RSI protection? We want to remove RSI closing and enable query closing lines instead, and see if the ADX helps us to filter the trades. Yeah, we have the same thing, which is 62. And what about reverse? Is it any better? We should have more trades, but yeah, I mean, doesn't seem to be quite good, if I'm being honest. Yeah, okay. Reverse. Okay, anyway, let's write this down for another day. So this should be here 9, and what you want to do is divergenced L1, L2 I mean, long only true, and ADX protection 2030 plus true 2030. Okay, let's test this strategy too. Okay, so this should be diver long ADX, and this should be diver long. Okay, nice. So now I'm going to save these changes. So let's take a look at it again. So we have the inputs, we have the code, and then we use it or not. So this is L. Damn it. Yeah, let's remove this. I don't want to add this because I have to modify the last commit. Yeah, so commit mem. So this is the L. Nice. So now I have all of this stuff, and now I should be able to say something like the L added ADX protection. Yeah. So this is what we are doing here. So we have added this protection filter. Nice. Wait a moment. This is not okay. We want to use 20 and 30 in both of the ranges, because these are the ranges that works the best. So this should be 20 and then maximum is 30. The other way here. I mean, it doesn't work so well in so this should be 20 and this should be 30. It doesn't work quite well in short, but at least we want these settings. So now we should be able to add this here and then amend our commit with all of this. Nice. So right now, let's see. Right now, let's do some more stuff. So let's bump the version so that it's L2 here, and down here should be L2 too. The name L2. Okay. So that's right. So this should be this should be another stuff, which is burn version to L2. Yes, it's right. This is bump one. Yeah, that's right. So BAM version 2. What the hell is this? Anyway, so L2. So what we want here is to release this. So let's release this, and let's edit the video description so that you can use it there. So now I should be able to find the script around here. So this should be L2, and this should be LADX. So this is LADX, and I will just edit the video description so that we can find it here. Okay, so I'll be back in 5 minutes and we will finish. So we want to, where the hell is this? We want to, from the chat, what the hell is this? We want to add this to the Ruckard Zignaly template. Okay. Then we want to activate. No, we don't want to activate this. Yeah, we don't want to activate this. But yeah, so we want to add the filter in the Ruckard Zignaly template. We will have finished. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, so I am back. So let's add this new filter to the Ruckard Zignaly template. So what we want to do, as we did before, is just use divergence LADX and compare it to the Ruckard Zignaly template. And just use whatever. This is not it. Okay, so now we have the long ADX protection. We want this, and let's see what more do we need, do we want. And we have this ADX protection sub-strategy, and this is not good because it's mixed with the skews momentum divergence. We should not be there. So let's see if we can do this properly. So from common logic to the skews momentum divergence, we should be able to fix this. So I think we had open somewhere the Ruckard Zignaly template. Okay, I mean, here it is. Let's move it to the, wait a moment, let's move it to the left. Wait a moment. This is okay, so here we have this stuff which we don't want, everything of it. So we have the conditions to going up somewhere here. So here I should be able to remove all of the stuff to here. Then we just have this. So now, if I check which are the differences, I should have more or less everything in the right place. So I should have, yeah, so these are the inputs for divergence and so on. And then we've got this divergence of a strategy, which we don't care about. And so we have once again this secondary divergence, which should not be here. So let's add this and then we will fix it. So this was 700 like here, so we don't want this secondary divergence. So let's see if we compare this again, what do we have? So we should have this. So here we have all of the divergence, that's nice. And then secondary divergence, but here we only have stuff about the ADX protection, and finally there is some plots which we are not using. So if we take a look at the differences, we can check how we've got these settings as inputs. We have the protection super strategy, nothing more. Then we have how we use this so that yeah, so how we use this so that it can be used. So now I should be able to add the, what's the name, the Ruckard Zignaly template. right. Now we have a comment about the new functionality, which is here. And this other one, so we should be able to ADX protection. Hi trader BA. How is it going? So should I make another version or not? I mean, maybe I won't do any version because I mean, it's not worth it, because we are going to add the other settings and this will need more version, so we are not going to do that. However, we can have the current commit, which is whatever. Can check the source code here and search for the Ruckard Zignaly template, and that's what we're going to use in the video description. So here in the video description we have this Ruckard Zignaly template, which you can use if you want to. So right now I think we have managed to add, where is it? We have managed to add the ADX protection filter to the strategy and to the Ruckard Zignaly template. So the next video will be about adding maybe some ADX closing, so that if you have more than 50 you close, or whatever. You say, oh, that's too much ADX, let's close the trade. Okay, that's the idea for the next day. Okay, so thank you very much for watching this video. See you the next time.